Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I'm slightly ill prepared. Last night was a very chaotic evening for me. Didn't get as much prep done as I normally would like to. So bear with me on this. I even forgot to grab my Dasher shirt that I would normally wear. Spoiler alert if you didn't watch the game. All right. Okay. First game I want to talk about. Boy, this was all about being in the penalty box was a bad thing because 8 of the 9 total goals scored were on the power play. Both goals by the Venom scored on the man advantage, and 6 of 8 on the power play for Danbury. So special teams, no bueno when shorthanded. So yes, 7-2 final. This was never in doubt. It was 3-0 pretty early. 13-12 of the first period. This is the second straight time I'm talking about uh, uh, Vadim Frolov scoring the game-winning goal. He did last Saturday too. Of course, I was on the power play. So yeah, lots of scoring for Danbury. Josh LaBelle, a goal and 4 assists. Johnny Ruiz, 2 goals and an assist. Harwell, a goal, 2 assists. You had a goal and assist from both Frolov and Noah Robinson, and 2 assists from uh, Dylan Hullaby. So, yeah. Um, yeah, it was over pretty quick. Frankie McClendon gets a rare start, and he performed well, saving 29 of 31. John Moriarty, 42 shots faced, 35 saves. So the shots on goal, the second period are really that's where this game just got out of hand for the Venom. 8 shots for the Venom, 20 for Danbury. 10-19 on hand to see this one. So there we go. That's pretty much all you can do. So the Venom struggling now. 1-8-1 in their last 10, 7-17-2 overall. And Danbury 15-10-6. Um, the other game was later. This was marked originally as a 7 o'clock game, and then oops, it got changed. No notice. So yeah, everybody's commenting like, "Hey, when's the game going to start?" Baton Rouge travels over to Athens. A very tired Baton Rouge team. Maybe next time, if you're Baton Rouge, don't leave at 10 o'clock at night for a 10-hour travel. Uh, Not a good strategy. Didn't work out for them, Cotton. Yeah, it was 4-1 Athens. The game was 3-1, but the big thing is Baton Rouge just was not generating shots. And part of that was Athens' defense. They played very well, but yeah, not much happening. So Josh Rosenzweig, he has a pretty easy night, saving 19 of 20. Brendan Colgan, a little bit more action, 31 saves on 34 shots in 58-50 played because he was pulled, and an empty net goal was scored. So game-winning goal was Orca Weisblatt, again in the first period, 18-21. At that point, it was 2-1. That's all they would need. Uh, yeah, shots 12-9 for Athens in the first, 11-8 in the second, and then 12-3. You go into the third period, you're down 3-1. You need to generate more than 3 shots. So what can you do? The lone goal by the Zydeco was scored. I'm sorry, by Narek Alexanian. I didn't watch this game, so I had to check my notes. Athens gets a goal and 2 assists from both Carter Shinkarik and Orca Weisblatt, and Kason Gallant got a goal as well. Good crowd on hand, 53-17. So that'll definitely boost the attendance numbers for the Rock Lobsters. They are now 24-2 and now in fourth place with still anywhere from 3 to 6 games on hand on the teams above them. Baton Rouge is now 21-8-4. As we move to the big board, weird, just weird. This was supposed to be a really big game, and it turned into a landslide very early, 4-0 at the end of one. Columbus, I'm not sure what happened. They arrived early on Thursday. They practiced on Thursday, and then Friday. Oof. Is Binghamton that good, or is Columbus that overhyped? I don't think either of those thoughts would really truly hold any value. I mean, Binghamton's good, yes. Columbus didn't have their best game, but yeah, it was just kind of an aberration. I expect tonight to be much different between these two teams. I'm expecting more like I thought this game was going to be like 4-2 in favor of Binghamton, but not this. So there. I mean, I could go through and bore you with everything. Let's just cover the first period, and then we're going to kind of gloss over this because there's not a lot to talk about. It was just a lopsided game. Columbus didn't bring their best effort. Binghamton showed no mercy, and there you go. So Don Oliveri, he scores 39 seconds in, and that kind of set the tone right there. One of the few penalties that was called last night. There weren't that many penalties called. For the most part, the referees just let the guys play. Dakota Bond scores another shorthanded goal. He's now tied for the league lead with several others with 3 shorthanded goals on the year. And he was all alone. He was by himself on the doorstep. Bam, bam, bam. Nobody put a body on him, and he was able to put the puck past Matt Patesian, who started. I can't talk today. Need more coffee. 8:09 was the time of that goal. Don Oliveri scores on the power play at 13:31, and Cody Wickline then gets the River Dragons on the board at 15:09, but Kyle Stefan countered at 18:56, and so it's 4-1 at the end of the first, not 4-0, but 4-1. And Patesium was done for the night at the intermission. Sammy Bernard became the starter after that. Okay, so yeah, we had Scott Ramekers. He scored the only other goal by Binghamton that was not part of a hat trick. Now, this was weird. Yates scores at 5:11. Ryan Hunter counters. Nice feed from Gretzky's office from JMac for Ryan Hunter. And that was only 13 seconds later. Yates scores. Oliveri gets his hat trick. Oh, we're in the third period now. Oliveri gets his hat trick. That's a 33 seconds in. Again, very quick goal. Kyle Stefan scores on a breakaway. Kyle Stefan scores again, gets his hat trick. All of that happened within a minute and 15 seconds, those 3 goals. Yates gets his hat trick. And then towards the end, Columbus says, let's just loosen up. Let's just practice playing our game. Everybody kind of went into practice mode at this point. It's 11-2. Columbus scores the last goal. 4:28. Alexander Jemayev scores, and then 5:28. It's 5:28. It's Jemayev, and for some reason I did not write down the time of the goal for the Ryan Hunter goal. So Hunter ends up with 2 goals on the night. Cody Wickline a goal and an assist, and Justin McDonald 2 assists. Now, Petizian, he stopped 19 to 23 in that first period. Then it's Bernard's turn. He saves 23 of 30. For the Binghamton Black Bears, yeah, Yates, a hat trick plus an assist. Oliveri, a hat trick plus an assist. Stefan, a hat trick. CJ Stubbs, 4 assists. Tyson Kirkby, 3 assists. Dan Stone, 3 assists. You get the idea. It was just kind of all over. And Nolan Egbert stops 23 of 27. So in the end, Columbus goes to 18, 7, and 4. Binghamton is now 34 and 1. A crowd of 3806 on hand. All right. This game a lot tighter. And it was the goalies. Fantastic performances by both Boris Babik and Hunter Verostic. You hate to see either goaltender lose in a game like this. Very tight checking game. Excuse me. But the only goal of the game was in the first. It was Gus Ford scoring at 17:20, and that was on the man advantage. That one moment, and that defined the whole game. It really, I mean, both goaltenders made fantastic, just acrobatic saves, especially in the third period. I wish there was more to talk about with this game because really it was a very good game. The only thing that I thought was, the Bobcats aren't generating a whole lot of quality grade A chances, and then when they did, Babik just was superhuman and stymied them. So I think I counted just 4 unearthly saves by Babik and about 6 by Verostic in this game. And again, it was a shame to see anybody lose, but Columbus does come out on top, and they hold on the first. 22, 7, and 3 is now the record. Blue Ridge Bobcats in a very tight division. Losses are big. They are now 16, 11, and 4, and they are now in 5th place because Athens won and leapfrogged over them. So, and they're only 1 point up on Monroe, who we'll talk about next year. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, every game in this division is like a playoff game right now when you have intra-divisional foes meeting up. So the interdivisional matchup, Monroe versus Motor City. Monroe really kind of got one big burst, and that was enough to keep them up. It was Tristan Wells scoring very early, 18 seconds in. Credit to the Moccasins for gathering themselves together and not imploding at that time, because we see that happen with a lot of teams. Just today, Binghamton scored very quickly. Danbury scored very quickly, and the opponents just kind of folded. Not so with the not so with the Moccasins. Excuse me. Moccasins, they get the equalizer at 5:52. It's Koivuniemi scoring, and that tied everything up at 1. It would stay that way. Shots were 9-6 in favor of Monroe. So there weren't a lot of shots in this game, except for the second period. Second period is where everything kind of got loosey-goosey, and that was not to the Rockers' advantage. Second period, it's 2 quick goals. It's Declan Conway scoring at 5:50, kind of getting off a little bit of a snide. He'd been kind of quiet as of late. And then not even a minute later, it's a matter of fact, it's 31 seconds later, it's Kyle Heitzner scoring. So yeah, bam, bam, it's 3-1. Now, Tristan Wells did score again at 11:50 of the second period. That's on the power play, so that makes it 3-2. And shots in that second period were 17-16 in favor of the Rockers. Rockers, they generally don't get that many shots on goal in a period, but they did last night. In the third period, the Moccasins held their own. Rockers outshot them 9-6. Um, Trevor Babin gets pulled uh, with a minute 9 left, but no real result. The Moccasins were able to ice the puck a couple times, and that kind of wrap up the game. So that's it. 3-2 in favor of the Moccasins. They improved to 16, 12, and 5, and again, still in sixth place, but only 1 point out. So they've put themselves in a position to perhaps tonight jump into a playoff spot, depending on who wins, who loses. The Rockers are now 12, 18, and 2. They're kind of locked in that number 5 spot. Hudson Valley's been struggling. Motor City has been too. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10. So somebody's going to end up kind of ending up in the playoffs by default, seemingly. Who knows? Somebody could get hot. There's still a lot of hockey to be played. So crowd of 704 on hand for that. William Lavalier plays his first game for the Moccasins and stops 30 of 32. Goal and assist by Kyle Heitzner and Declan Conway, we talked about before. Tristan Wells with 2 goals in the game. And then finally, we get to this. I will say this. At least the Dashers were competitive in this game. They really could have used more offense, but defensively, they played a pretty good game. It was disappointing to see that they pulled Rutherford at the end. It was disappointing to see that they couldn't get any offense really generated. Nusiainen only had to save 17, 18 shots, 17 saves. Parker Rutherford played pretty well himself, saving 32 of 34. So in this game, no goals until late in the first, and who else gets the first Prowlers goal? It's Lucas Lackney finally coming back down from the SP, and he ends up scoring right off the bat on the power play. So just a minute later, exactly a minute, it's TJ Prexler, who was just signed this week by the the Dashers. Excuse me. Dashers tie things up. Good response goal. In the second period, the one what I would say was a defensive breakdown and nothing egregious. It's just Prowlers found the seam. It's Tucker Scantlebury getting the puck home at 12:31, which ends up being the game-winning goal. Shots were decidedly in favor of the Prowlers in this game. In the first period, it was 13-5. In the second, it was 13-7. So only 12 shots generated by the Dashers through 2 periods. And then in the third period, well, they couldn't muster much else. They only got 6 shots on goal, which, again, not much, but not enough when you're down a goal. They pull Rutherford, but, again, to no avail. And so it's a 2-1 victory by the Prowlers, but this was a much better game than what we saw 2 weeks ago when these two teams met up, and the Prowlers just went on a cakewalk. So Dashers now 27 losses in a row. Could tie the record tonight. Now there was a announced crowd of 3,007. I thought that was a little generous. The crowd didn't look bad, but it wasn't as good as last week when Baton Rouge was playing the Dashers there in Topeka. So, all right. So the league's getting what they wanted. Their objective was to get 3,000 drawn per game. Tonight's the last game at Topeka out of the 4. So, again, future note to Topeka fans, Topeka personnel, President Don Lewis, please start the games 7 o'clock, not 7:30, because, of course, for us on the East, it's very late. Okay, so Port Huron is now 18, 12, and 4. They are in that second place, excuse me. They're in second place, not third. the hat tricks are in third, and then the Dashers are, yeah, they're languishing. 27 losses in a row, 126-3. So will we see a different result tonight? We'll find out. All right. I will be at the Binghamton Black Bears game tonight, so things are going to be a little thin as far as my description because when I go to a game, I only have two devices with me. Can't take my PC into the arena. So, yeah, we're going to be four games. We're just going to kind of breeze through because I won't have a chance to watch them. I will be watching two other games, which will be the Venom and the Hat Tricks, along with the Rock Lobsters and the Baton Rouge Zydeco. All right, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Get them hooked on the Fed. You know, the more fans, the better. And we will talk to you tomorrow right here on YouTube. Have yourselves a wonderful Saturday.